Hey YouTube, SC65 here with another chapter. Now if you saw in the video entrance to this, you saw that this video will be a two-part video because, well, what I've come up with is so long that I cannot possibly put it in the YouTube 15-minute time limit. So, it's been forced that I had to split this up into two parts. And before we begin, we have to have a look at what the two main categories for ghosts and spirit hauntings. Number one, residual hauntings. Residual haunting, by far the most common type of haunting, is a haunting in which the ghostly energy goes through a cycle of actions, thus repeating itself over and over again. Typically, these ghost actions play at a specific time or date, as though they were following a schedule. Oftentimes, the event playing out will be that of a tragedy or horrific scene, such as a death or murder. Residual hauntings have been said to be more like a psychic impression or energy, rather than an actual haunting of a physical presence or being. Number two is intelligent hauntings. Intelligent haunting is described as a haunting in which the spirit/ghost demonstrates an intelligence level at which the entity seems to be aware of its surroundings and or the present day situation. These ghosts have been said to actually communicate or interact with the living. Intelligent hauntings often involve objects being moved and or other physical activities such as spirits making sounds, noises, running on walls, mirrors, etc. Slamming doors and other physical traces such as footsteps appearing from nowhere. There have been reports of intelligent hauntings where the entities will move things around or even hide objects from their living counterparts. Distinct smells and or odors are commonly reported with intelligent hauntings. Okay, now that we have the definitions out of the way, on to our list. Number 10, Moss Beach Distillery, Moss Beach, California. The story. The Moss Beach Distillery in Moss Beach, California is well known on the California coast, both for its great food and fantastic views, but also for its ghosts. Moss Beach Distillery originally opened in 1972 as Frank's Place, a highly successful speakeasy during the Prohibition era. It was a popular hotspot for movie stars, politicians in San Francisco, and well-known gangsters. Even rumored to have been a brothel once, this was a place where shady deals went down and lots of bad things happened. The most well-known ghost of the distillery is the Lady in Blue, said to be the ghost of Mary Ellen, a beautiful young woman who loved wearing blue dresses. The Lady in Blue met a handsome piano player named John Cantina, already married. Mary Ellen fell for Mr. Cantina and was soon to enter into an adulterous affair. The two lovers met frequently for moonlit walks on the beach and encountered at the Marine View Hotel, which was located next to the distillery overlooking the cliffs. The romance ended tragically on a stormy November night as Mary Ellen died in a horrific automobile accident on Old Bayshore Highway. Ironically, at the same time, the piano player was also having an affair with a local woman in a Delbert, who discovered John's deceit and flung herself off the cliffs near the distillery, drowning in the kelp beds below. Cantina later met with a tragic death himself, as his decapitated body was found washed up a shore near the distillery. It is rumored that a jealous husband decided to take revenge, but Cantina's death is still an unsolved mystery. Why I believe this haunting is real. The Lady in Blue has been witnessed by dozens of people, often in the cliffs surrounding the building, warning children and other guests not to play too close to the edge. There are numerous reports of poltergeist activity and other paranormal activity, including incessant telephone ringing with no caller at either end, cases of wine repeatedly being moved with no one accountable, random objects being tossed around, and doors mysteriously slamming shut. Number 9, the Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, California. The story. Few haunted places are more massive or beautiful than the Winchester Mystery House. Originally begun in 1844 by Sarah Winchester, heiress of the Winchester rifle fortune, the mansion began as a humble 6-room home. Now the sprawling structure has more than 106 rooms. It's like a labyrinth of intrigue, suspense, and the house name suggests mystery. Driven by guilt over the many deaths of her husband's rival business, his causeless Winchester was significantly driven by ghosts that continually build onto the Victorian-style mansion over a period of 40 years, which has it that ghosts inspire Mrs. Winchester to keep building into this house, the house that never ends. It has been speculated that Sarah constructed this house in such a manner as to confuse or trap ghosts so they cannot disturb her further. In later years of her life, she even slept in a different room every night, hoping to avoid repeating ghostly hauntings. Today, the mansion is a tourist attraction filled with room amenities. The Winchester Mystery House includes a fun operating lighting, Almost 50 fireplaces, orchid blowers, and magnificent chandeliers. Almost every window has 13 panels of glass, most floors contain 13 sections, and all but one staircase and has 13 steps. And did I mention that the house has several oddities like staircases that lead to nowhere? Why I believe this haunting is real. Sarah Winchester was one of the wealthiest, most influential women in America during her time, and as she claimed, she was haunted by the spirits of hundreds, if not thousands, of souls killed by Winchester rifles. Additionally, there have been numerous ghost appearances in the house on the property, and visitors often reported hearing mysterious voices, footsteps, and doors slamming when no one is in the room. Cold spots and strange lights were frequently reported as well. Bright the Crusher Mansion, Staten Island, New York. The story: Crusher family of New York during the 1800s owned and operated a large brick factory that supplied most of the brick for the entire Staten Island area. Of the profits from the business, they built two large mansions, one for the original family members and the second for their son and his new wife. The father and the son began to feud over the years, and the relationship turned to one that could not be reconciled. Mysteriously, one evening, the second home erupted in flames and burned to the ground, killing both the son and his wife. The house was rebuilt after the fire and was later turned into a restaurant. It is said that the property is haunted by ghosts of the son and his wife, along those of the cook who apparently hung himself in the property in the early 1900s. Frequent apparitions are seen and heard throughout the residence. Why I believe this haunting is real? Dozens of visitors and employees of the restaurant/mansion have reported seeing strange ghostly apparitions and or witnessed unexplained events, such as doors slamming behind them, objects mysteriously flying across the room, and more. The minor owners of the property claim to have witnessed almost daily ghostly encounters. Number 7, Mutt Mansion and Brewery, St. Louis, Missouri. The story: an infamous Mutt Mansion built in the 1860s was home to the Lemps, a prominent St. Louis, Missouri family that owned one of the largest breweries in the world. Well, that is until the Prohibition started. The family's downfall. Legend has it that the Prohibition took place in the 1920s, and one family went to a quick spiral of deceit and treachery. One family nearly dying under mysterious circumstances, 4 others taking their own lives, another dying of a heart attack, all inside the confines of the mansion itself. Next door to the mansion was the Old Lemp Brewery. The brewery is nestled on top of a natural cave system that used to store beer and at one point smuggle slaves in the Mississippi River. Today, the Lemp Mansion and Brewery is a supposedly haunted house experience like no other. Why I believe this haunting is real? After the deaths of the Lemp family members and as the brewery business collapsed due to Prohibition, the mansion quickly fell into disrepair. Years later, as hired contractors were brought into the restore the mansion, things began to get a little creepy. Workers began to get chills, a deep overall feeling of being watched. Tools began to disappear, others moved on their own or were thrown about with no one in sight, and workers quit out of sheer terror. Later on, while being used as a restaurant, employees and patrons witnessed objects floating off the bar, mysterious sounds with no explanation, the piano playing by itself, and ghostly apparitions appearing and disappearing at will. Then there's this. Life magazine named the site as one of the most haunted places in America. Number 6, the Bullock Hotel, Deadwood, South Dakota. The story: as any American history or anyone who watched the HBO series Deadwood can tell you, Sheriff Seth Bullock is one of the most successful and famous lawmen of all time. Sheriff Bullock was said to be one of the baddest dudes around, and that justice convinced there was enough to stop an evildoer in their tracks. Bullock and his partner, Soul Star, moved their hardware business from Helena, Montana to Deadwood in 1876. The store was an instant success, and they soon bought the property at the corner of Main and Wall Streets, the current location of the Bullock Hotel. Having been sheriff in Lewis and Clark County, Montana, Bullock was elected Deadwood sheriff after the untimely death murder of Wild Bill Hickok. In August of 1876, Sheriff Bullock assembled a team of fearless deputies to help him clean up the town. Before long, order had been established in the former hell-raising camp. The hardware store survived the devastating Deadwood fire of 1879, but wasn't so lucky the second time around it was completely destroyed. Saved the brick brigade by fire in 1894. Instead of rebuilding their hardware store warehouse, Bullock and Starr decided to build Deadwood's finest hotel in place. Seth Bullock died of cancer on September 23, 1919, at his ranch near Belle Fourche, South Dakota. He was buried in the high white trail of white rocks above Mount Moriah Cemetery. But many people feel that, rather than moving on, Bullock's spirit now haunts the halls of this luxurious hotel. Why I believe this haunting is real. In one of the most violent Old West towns of record, many people lost their lives in town to Deadwood to gun and knife fights. violent beatings and outright murder. Dozens and dozens of people have reported strange paranormal experiences at the Cold Hotel, ranging from feelings of strong paranormal presence inside many of the hotel's rooms and hallways late in them when no one is around present and see physical apparitions. Cold Hotel is an all-around hotspot. Now stay tuned for chapter part 2.